In the second video for enzyme activity, we're going to look at the effects of temperature on our enzyme. So we've got three different temperatures of water. Let me get this where you can see it. We've got this boiling hot water. We've got ice cold water. And we've got room temperature water. And so we're going to see how these different temperatures affect our enzyme. So to each test tube, I'm going to add our proper enzyme. Let's put room temperature water in this test tube, get it started. I'm going to stir the water and enzyme. For this one, since everything's already room temperature, I'm not worried about waiting for our enzyme to change temperature. For the hot water and the cold water, it will. And then to that, we're going to add substrate. So again, this one had room temperature water. To the next one, I want to add cold water. So this is our ice cold water. We'll add our enzyme to the cold water. And not only that, I'm going to put it in the cold water so that our enzyme will get nice and chilled. To our third test tube, we're going to add hot water in with our enzyme. So I've added enzyme. Let's add hot water to that. And then I'm going to keep this in the hot water. Stir these a little bit, the hot water and the cold water one. Again, I want to make sure that my enzyme changes temperature before I add the substrate. So bear with me just for a minute. We might review while we're waiting. Remember that the place on an enzyme where the reactant, the substrate, attaches is called the active site. And for our enzyme to function properly, the shape of the active site has to match the shape of our substrate. Okay, so now I'm going to add our reactant, our substrate. First to the cold water, and then we'll add some to the hot water as well. And we'll stir again. So let's go back and check our room temperature water. Notice we're getting a nice brown product. That tells us that our enzyme is functioning normally. What about the cold water? I'm not seeing much change at all here. In the hot water, maybe looking a little bit more cloudy, but again, I'm not seeing any brown color. So again, here's room temperature. The brown color indicates our enzyme is functioning. Hot water, kind of cloudy, but no brown color. Cold water, maybe just the slightest hint of a brown color. I'm going to go ahead and put this hot one aside. So comparing these side by side, though, notice the room temperature one is obviously browner. So I'm going to hold this in my hand for a minute. Let's go back and talk about the hot water one. You know, often if we want to speed up the rate of a reaction, we add heat. In this case, it didn't help. So why not? This is our enzyme. And again, remember, this is the active site where our substrate has to fit. And if this is our substrate, for these to work, they have to fit together. What we did with that hot water, we denatured our enzyme. We changed its shape, and now it doesn't fit with our substrate anymore. So we've destroyed its ability to function as a catalyst. And as we let this cool down, I'm still not seeing any brown color. We have permanently changed the shape of the enzyme, permanently denatured it. Now the cold one, initially we saw maybe just the slightest tinge of brown. And I've been holding it in my hot little hands here, trying to gently warm it up. And if you'll notice now, we're getting more brown color. Hasn't quite caught up to the room temperature one, but obviously starting to get some brown color. So did the cold temperature denature our enzyme? It's starting to work. No, it didn't. What the cold temperature did is slow down the rate of our reaction. And now that it's starting to warm up, our enzyme's functioning fine, and we're getting product.